Hi guys, welcome to Nico's Nonstop Sports, where today I'm going to be teaching you how to sports bet. I'm sure while you guys have been watching the games lately, you've been seeing a bunch of ads for all kinds of sportsbook apps such as DraftKings, Sportsbook, Fanduel, Sportsbook, and the BetMGM Sportsbook, and maybe you've been curious about how it works. Well, today I'm going to walk you through exactly how everything works. The main things that I'll be discussing in this video are explaining to you how the odds work, helping you calculate your payouts so you can figure out how much you actually win in pure profits if your bet does hit. I'm also going to be explaining to you what a money line is, what a spread is, what is the over-under, and also what a parlay is, and explain to you how the odds differ depending on which of these you choose to bet on. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into things. If you take a look on the left side of your screen, you'll see that I've pulled up a screenshot of one of the sportsbook apps that I like to use, DraftKings. And it might look a little overwhelming at first, but don't look at it all at once. We're just going to break it down one piece at a time. So for right now, we're going to just start at NFL. Look on the top right hand of that screenshot. You'll see something that says Moneyline. We're going to look right below that, and you'll see the first game is going to be the Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers. Simply put, the money line is who you think is going to win the game. So in this instance, if I feel like the Atlanta Falcons are going to win the game, I would place my money on the plus 106. If I think the Carolina Panthers are going to win the game, I would select the minus 120 option. So one thing you might be asking yourself is, why is there a plus and a minus next to the numbers? Let me explain that. A plus means that a team is expected to lose. That means they are underdogs and they are not expected to win this game. So therefore, if you choose that team, you are taking a higher risk by putting your money on them. If you take the team with the minus, that is the team that is known as the favorite, and Vegas is expecting them to win the game. So therefore, you are taking a lower risk when betting on that team. Now that we figured out what the plus and the minuses next to the number mean, let's go ahead and break down what exactly you would be winning in pure profits if you were to bet on each of these two options. As mentioned earlier, the team with the plus is the underdog, so therefore you are taking a higher risk by selecting them to win. So Vegas is willing to give you a higher payout because you are taking a higher risk, and Vegas is more likely to win off of you. So if we look at 106, that is actually a dollar amount. So what I like to do is put a decimal point at the very end of that number. So after the 6, put an invisible period, move it to the left 2 spots, and that actually gives you a dollar amount of $1.06. So if we bet on the Falcons, what this is saying is for every $1 that we're willing to put down, we are going to win $1.06 in pure profits. So if we were to put down $100 on the Atlanta Falcons, our total cash out amount at the very end would be $206. And then in order to calculate our actual pure profit, we're going to take that total amount of $206 minus our initial investment that we put down of $100. And so that gives us an actual pure profit of $106. So you didn't actually win $206. You actually only won $106 in addition to getting back your initial $100 that you bet in the first place. So now if we look at the Carolina Panthers money line, remember the minus next to the 120 means that that team is favored to win. So in Vegas's eyes, they feel that they are taking on a higher risk because the odds are actually in your favor in Vegas's eyes on you betting on that team. So as a result, Vegas is going to make you put down more money up front in order to win that profit. So what's going to happen here is we're going to do the same system as we did with the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to put a decimal point at the end of the 120, move it to the left 2 spots, and you get a dollar amount of $1.20. So what that's telling you is, since it's minus 120, you are going to have to put down $1.20 for every $1 that you're going to win. So our example in this case for that would be, let's go back to the $100 value amount. So in order for you to win $100 in pure profit, Vegas is forcing you to put down $120 up front. So you would bet $120. Your cash out at the very end is going to be $220. And in order to figure out your pure profit, we're going to take that $220, which is your total cash out amount, minus your initial investment of the $120, and that is going to leave you with a net value of $100 in pure profits. All right, so now that we've looked at money lines, let's look at something a little more advanced. Let's move on to point spreads. So we'll look at a different game for this one just to switch things up. So let's look at the game right below the one we were just on. So we'll look at the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Detroit Lions. And if you look under the column listed point spreads, you'll notice that the Indianapolis Colts are listed at -3 and the Detroit Lions are listed at +3. And you'll notice that underneath both of those numbers, you'll see that both are listed at minus 110 odds. So let's take a second and we'll break down each one of those individually. Let's first look at the Indianapolis Colts at -3. The minus indicates that they are favored to win the game, and what the 3 tells us is that they are expected to win the game by 3 points. And so what we need to happen in order to win, if we bet on this, is we need the Colts to actually win by more than 3 points. So therefore, they would have to win the game by 4 points or more in order for us to get a profit. If they win by exactly 3 points, then that is known as a push, and in most cases, you're going to get your money back. If the Colts win the game by only 2 points, or they only win the game by 1 point, then you actually lose. So in some spreads, you'll notice that there's actually a 0.5. So let's just say, for example, in this instance, that the Colts were minus 3.5 instead of -3. If they were minus 3.5, what that's actually indicating to us is that the Colts have to win the game by 4 points or more. If the Colts only win the game by 3 points or less than 3 points, we actually lose. So that 0.5 can actually make or break you in some instances, and I've had it happen to me in multiple occasions. So if you're placing any bets, make sure to watch out for that 0.5 because it can come back and bite you in some cases. Now, in regards to payout on this spread at the Colts -3, if you look right below that -3, you'll see that the odds are listed at minus 110. We're going to use our 2-place decimal trick. We're going to move the decimal 2 places in, and it's going to give us minus $1.10. And remember, that means that in order for us to win $1, we have to bet $1.10. So our example of $100, if we want to win $100, we actually have to bet $110. So we would bet $110. Our cash out would actually be $210. And then remember, to get our actual total net profit, we're going to take that $210 minus our initial $110 investment, and that's going to leave us with $100 in pure profits. Now that we've determined what's going to happen if we bet on the Indianapolis Colts at -3 at that 110 odds, let's go ahead and take a peek at the Detroit Lions at +3 at the same minus 110 odds. As we discussed earlier, the plus next to the 3 indicates that the Detroit Lions are underdogs. They are not favored to win this game in the eyes of Vegas. So what they're actually doing is they are kind of giving you an advantage. So what that 3 is they are giving you 3 points to play with in a sense. So they are determining that the Lions are going to lose the game by 3 points or more. So what you are actually betting on is that the Lions lose the game by less than 3 points. So the Detroit Lions can either outright win the game, or they can lose by 1 point, lose by 2 points, and you still win. If they lose by exactly 3 points on the dot, you are going to go ahead and get a push and get your money back. Let's say, for example, that instead of being +3, that the Lions were actually +3.5. That half point is actually going to be in your favor as an underdog. So what that means is that the Lions can lose the game by 3 points or less, and you still win. So the Lions can win the game, they lose by 1 point, they lose by 2 points, they lose by 3 points, you still win because you're covered by that half point. Now, if they were to lose by 4 points or more, then you would lose. But that half point actually helps in your favor being an underdog. Now that we've looked at money lines, we've looked at spreads, let's go ahead and look at over-under. So let's stick with the same game. We'll look at Indianapolis Colts at the Detroit Lions. If we look at that middle column right under where it says over-under, you can see that the over-under number is 50. Basically what this is saying is that when you take the two team scores at the end of the game and you add those together, do you think that that number that it adds up to is going to be over 50 or under 50 points? If the score were to hit exactly 50 points when you add up the two scores together, that's considered a push and you would get your money back. In regards to the odds, the payouts, it's going to be similar to, as we discussed on the spreads, it's minus 110 odds. So remember, you were going to have to put down $1.10 to earn $1. So basically what that's saying is if we put down $110, that'll allow us to make $100 in profits using that formula that I showed you earlier in the video. All right, on to the final section of the video. We're going to be discussing parlays. So what is a parlay? A parlay is when you add multiple individual bets together into one large bet. So if you take 3 separate individual bets and you combine them into one large bet, you are saying that you think all 3 things are going to hit in one large bet. If only 2 out of the 3 hit, you lose. So you are actually taking on a larger risk by doing this, But in doing so, you are getting a way bigger payout than if you were to bet on those things individually. Vegas is willing to take on that because they are actually more likely to win than you are to win. So they're willing to give you a larger payout to entice you into wanting to bet on parlays because they know that the odds are in their favor and not yours. So in this example of a parlay, I'm going to combine together 3 teams' money lines just to make it easy. We'll go ahead and take the Atlanta Falcons at plus 106 odds. We'll take the Indianapolis Colts at minus 150, and we will take the Las Vegas Raiders at plus 125. So what we are doing is we are saying that we think that all 3 of these teams are going to win their games outright. And as a result, it is going to combine the odds of all of them and give us a larger payout. So let's go ahead, click on our bet slip, and see exactly how much we'd be making if we place this parlay and won. So here in our bet slip, we can actually go ahead and see the odds of this parlay by combining all the games. And in this case, we are going to get a payout of plus 674. So remember, we'll use our 2 decimal system, put the period at the end of the 4, move it in 2 spots, and you're going to get a value of plus $6.74. So what this means is for every $1 that you're willing to bet, Vegas is going to pay you out $6.74 in pure profits. So we'll use our $100 example. If you were willing to put $100 down on this parlay, your total cash out would be $700.74. You would take that $774 total cash out minus your initial investment of $100, and your pure profits would be $674 in pure cash. All right, that's the end of the video, guys. I appreciate you sticking with me and watching the whole video. Hopefully I was able to explain that okay to you. I know there was a lot going on there. So if there's anything that you were unsure about, had any further questions about, feel free to leave that in the comment section below, and I'd be more than happy to check that out and get back to you. Also, if there's any specific content or sports topics that you'd love to hear me talk about, or if you're curious about my thoughts or opinions on, feel free to leave those in the comment section as well, and I'd be more than happy to take those into consideration for further video ideas. As always, if you liked what you saw, please feel free to subscribe, share the video with your friends, let them know about my channel, and there's plenty of more sports content on the way, so please subscribe, and we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you for checking it out. Hi, Evie. You heard me talking about the Lions. That's one of your favorite teams, isn't it? So you like all the cat teams, don't ya?